radical agenda movement in the NBA, RAMINBA.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining with me today in this Facebook broadcast live. Fellow Nigerians, learners, friends, colleagues, everyone, good afternoon once again. Now, today, I want to speak on the legal regime being proposed by our House of Rep as well as Senate, particularly the House of Rep, as we come to know, the legal regime on the control of the COVID-19. We understand that the bill is being proposed by 3 legislators at the National Assembly, the Speaker himself, Gbajabiamila, and 2 others, one Pascal Obi and Sonunu. And the intention is, as we have learned, is to overhaul the quarantine law and substitute with what is supposed to be a more effective way of dealing with infectious disease, particularly the COVID-19 in view. Right from the onset, there's been a problem about the way to go. Clearly, the Nigerian government is interested in vaccines. In itself, it's not bad, but are vaccines safe? There's been a lot of doubts of this issue and controversy, conspiracy theories, and suspicion. Now, the question is, why is Nigeria trying to rush ahead in respect of this issue of COVID-19, given the realities on ground? So far as we have known, there's been no vaccine on ground. And the government itself has not come up with any treatment model. At best, what we are having is management of patients diagnosed to have been infected with COVID-19. Why is the House of Assembly, the House, the Federal Parliament, the lower house, the Green Chamber, led by Gbajabiamila, why the secrecy? Why the sudden urgency? Members have complained at plenary sessions that this thing is being rushed. The bill is not being circulated. It was not circulated to them. A lot of hush-hush. And a few newspapers that have managed to allegedly grab copies have indicated that it's draconian in nature. Powers are to be given to the Minister of Health or to the NCDC Director General to take over property of people and to declare such as isolation centers to take forcibly. Why should that be? Why? Why should that be? That the issue of either people being subjected, accepting to be vaccinated, or to be sent to prison, or to be heavily fined of 500,000 or more. Why should this be? Why the rush? What is the state of the pandemic in Nigeria to warrant even this? Who is behind this? Information that has come across again is that it's just that bill of Gbajabiamila bill. It's been it's a more or less a copy of the one in Singapore. But our situations, are they the same? Why must we behave like this as a people, as a country, as a government? Whose interests are they serving? These honorable members. Suddenly they are active. When you see the parliament in Nigeria being very active, one must be suspicious. You must be on your guard. Generally, they are laid back. They don't pass reasonable bills most of the time. But when it comes to a appropriation bill that are now to settle themselves, they are very quick in that. Part of the bill, as we know also, where you give a lot of powers to a single individual to declare whether you are contravening a law or not about ingress and egress of a particular takeover property, isolation centers. Is that how it's being done all over the country? If this country is going to be put on a war footing that will necessitate this kind of emergency, then what we all know. But what is the situation in Nigeria? As of this money, do you have up to 200 deaths? Do you have up to 100 deaths? Even in Kano, the sudden rise in deaths has not been ascribed to COVID-19. So what is exactly is happening? The Nigerian Bar Association, I keep saying it, cannot afford to be quiescent, cannot afford to keep quiet, to appear almost indifferent. It's the freedoms of our people, the liberty of our people, the properties of our people that is at stake, the rights that are hard-won. Democracy did not come to Nigeria on a platter of gold. Lives were lost. Freedom from military jackboots did not come easy. Lives were ruined. Blood flowed. The military did not take over power in Nigeria peacefully, and they did not live peacefully. They took it by force, and they were forced out. And so, we can't continue like this. I urge the NBA at state and national level to rise up to the occasion and wade into this matter and intervene and raise up issues. We can't, I keep saying it, we can't, as a people, particularly as lawyers, a board of lawyers, we can't leave governance to the government. We can't leave governance to these politicians. They've not proved trustworthy in the past, and they're not proving trustworthy even in this crisis. All you hear is about lockdown, testing. What testing? That has been debunked. What testing? Smaller nations have done 5 times, 6 times the level of test that we've done in this country. Look at the funny isolation. What, less than 2,000 people, and you are talking that isolation centers are exhausted. And the minister was begging the other time for people to release the property to serve as isolation centers. Now, Gbajabiamila and co is coming up with this draconian law. Why the rush? People must be carried along. And that is the point. We must have our input. We must have our people, an input. What interest are they serving? What colonial interest? What imperialist interest? Certainly cannot be in the interest of Nigerians at this rush. For what? We've appealed, many people have appealed, including Vice Chancellor, people who are more knowledgeable than people like us in those kind of areas. Look inwards. Look at the herbs. One professor said when you go to the forest, all healing, all what you need for healing, for care is there in the forest. And it's true. Madagascar has taken the course, it has not ruined them. Senegal is called, it has not ruined them. Somebody is talking about rushing bills on vaccine. We all knew what happened with Pfizer in this same Kano years back. Sterilization for our people. This is the truth. It's not only the NBA, the ASU, the NLC, the NMA, all other professional bodies, our people generally, should rise up and not allow our freedoms to be taken away. Can you just take over somebody's property like that? And say, it's at your discretion. It should not be allowed. The NBA, the leading professional body in this country, must come into this affair. Cannot fold his hand. Thank you. Also, I would like to, even the NBA now, the Welfare Committee of the NBA, before I go to NBA, let's warn strictly that at the level of radical agenda movement in the NBA, RAMINBA, we are not going to take this easy. If the parent body, if the national body, if the general body decides to keep quiet as usual, decide to play the nice guys as usual, decide to conform, RAMINBA will not conform. We will agitate, because you don't agitate in Nigeria, you stagnate and you'll be destroyed. We will confront, we will engage. We've said it before, we're still saying it. Nigeria is worth dying for, and we are prepared to do so, to just do that. Not only for ourselves, but for the coming generations. What nonsense? What nonsense? All of us can't be cowards. There's fire on the mountain and you fold your hands, wearing bow ties about, dressing fancy, speaking fancy, keeping quiet, and you have been led to the slaughter. That's not right. It can't be right. On the welfare committee set up by the leadership of our MP, the question, that's the Dr. Babalakin SAN committee, welfare committee, how far? It's a simple question, how far, sirs? Because I understand that about 12 senior advocates are, as usual, dominated the committee, and there are about 4 other people are put in there. How far? Have anybody been paid? RAMINBA has taken note of the criteria, and we are not amused. We have said, well, 1 to 7 year old lawyers will be taken care of. Even of these 1 to 7 year old lawyers, supposedly the most vulnerable, will now still distinguish those of them that are in the employment of government are not to be touched. We are not going to reach them. Those of them that are working in the offices of senior advocates of Nigeria, you are not going to reach them. Why? Why? Why the discrimination? What is the basis of the discrimination? Somebody is a young lawyer, he has decided to work with government, so he's going to be punished for that. Somebody is working in the office of the senior advocate of Nigeria, and so because of that, he's not entitled to that, to what will come from the MBA. Is this even lawful? Is that not arbitrary? Is it not discriminatory? Is it not even based on presumptions? There are young lawyers who are working for non-senior advocates of Nigeria who are even better paid, not only in terms of salary, but in even the conditions of service. And then even if a senior advocate is, how many of them? Even if they pay fantastic, yes, somebody is a young lawyer, you always need help. So the basis for discrimination is not there as far as we are concerned. And how long are these people going to wait? So how far? Now, once something is lifted on Tuesday, the ending tomorrow, that is if anybody obeys the president, then are we not going to have a situation of stagnation again? Say, well, there's no need, everybody is now back to work and all that. It's taking too long a time. We understand the logistics, the challenges that could be there, and the fact that that committee came late in being set up at all. We have had the issue of COVID-19 since at least mid-March. At least mid-March. The government delayed, the NBA too is delaying. The government ought to have tackled the issue earlier. Now the MP has delayed the set up the committee. The committee itself must not delay and should not delay in reaching out to our people. The purpose of setting it up must not be defeated. Our people say, roasted dog is sweet. It's a delicacy. But when will we get roasted? So how far? Dr. Babalakin, Senior Advocate Committee, Welfare Committee on Palliatives for young lawyers, legal practitioners. I want to thank you so much for your attention. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful Sunday. And later I will be talking on the NBA election and the constitution of the NBA and what we see as perceived injustices there and the correction that ought to be made as a forward-looking professional association. Thank you.